You are not unlucky. You are not a victim. You are the product of your own decisions. And the truth? It stings. You wasted time, you made excuses, you let life slap you around like a little puppet, and now you wonder why you're not winning. The top 1% of men, they don't waste time crying over lost opportunities. They create new ones. They don't sit in their bed staring at the ceiling, paralyzed by self-doubt. They get up, they fight, they grind, and they take what's theirs. And if you're not willing to do that, then accept it. Accept that you will be a nobody. Accept that you will watch stronger men conquer while you rot in your comfort zone. Wake up, look around you. You are losing. Every second another man is getting stronger, richer, more powerful, while you sit there wasting time. You feel it, don't you? That quiet, nagging voice in your head telling you that you're behind, that you should be doing more, and you ignore it, but deep down you know the truth. You're running out of time. If you don't take control right now, you never will. This is your last chance. Because after today, the gap between you and the men who win will be too wide to close. So listen carefully, because this is the moment that changes everything. Listen up. You've been lied to your whole life. Society told you to be patient. They told you to be humble, to wait your turn, to accept mediocrity. And now look at you. You're sitting there broke, weak, uninspired, scrolling through your phone, watching other men live the life you want. It stings. You wasted time, you made excuses, you let life slap you around like a little puppet, and now you wonder why you're not winning. Let me tell you something. The world doesn't care about your feelings. The world rewards action, dominance, and discipline. I remember when I had nothing. No money, no status, no options. I was driving a busted Volkswagen Golf, eating scraps of leftover KFC chicken because I was too broke to afford a decent meal. And while I was starving, while I was suffering, I had a choice. Sit there and cry, or harden my mind and fight for my future. I chose to fight. I trained harder. I worked smarter. I refused to accept a life of mediocrity. And now, I eat KFC for fun, sitting in my mansion, laughing about the times I had to scavenge food. But most of you are either a predator or prey. You either take control of your life or life will control you. There is no middle ground. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop blaming your circumstances. Get angry, get aggressive, get up and start dominating. Because if you don't, no one is coming to save you. You think mindset is just some catchy phrase, some throwaway concept that only motivational speakers talk about. No. Your mindset is the difference between a man who conquers and a man who crumbles. And if you don't believe me, let me tell you a story. I remember a guy I knew years ago. And that's your fault. You let yourself be weak. Every single day you are faced with choices. Wake up early or sleep in. Go to the gym or be lazy. Learn a new skill or waste hours scrolling social media like a brainless zombie. These decisions seem small, but they are shaping your future. And if you keep making the wrong ones, you will wake up one day 40 years old, overweight, broke, and full of regret. And by then, it's too late. You don't have that in you. You break at the first sign of resistance. Your girl leaves you, and instead of using that pain to level up, you sit there texting her like a desperate little boy, hoping she'll come back. She won't. She doesn't care. You wasted your energy on her instead of building yourself into a man she could never replace. His mind was fragile. He got comfortable, and comfort is a slow, silent killer. Then one day, Jake lost his job. Just like that, gone. Instead of adapting, he panicked, he spiraled, he stopped going to the gym, started drinking, spent hours feeling sorry for himself. His girl left him. And guess what? That broke him completely. The man who once had potential turned into nothing but a shell of himself, because when life hit him, he didn't have the mental resilience to fight back. He let the storm drown him instead of becoming the storm. Now contrast that with another man, me. I've had nights where I didn't know if I'd wake up with a roof over my head. I've been down to my last dollar, stuck in a freezing gym, fighting through pain just to keep moving forward. But I didn't break. Let's call him Jake. Jake had everything going for him. Smart, fit, decent job, but deep down, Jake was weak. His mind was fragile. He got comfortable, and comfort is a slow, silent killer. Then one day, Jake lost his job. Just like that, gone. Instead of adapting, he panicked, he spiraled, he stopped going to the gym, started drinking, spent hours feeling. I adapted. I sharpened my mind like a weapon because I understood one thing. The world doesn't care how you feel. It only respects results. When the world tries to crush you, you have two choices. Let it or fight back. Let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up in a cold sweat, heart pounding, because you realized you wasted years of your life? Have you ever stared at yourself in the mirror and felt disgusted, knowing you could have been more, should have been more, but you weren't? That's what mindset is. It's the fuel that keeps you moving when everything in your body, everything in your weak little emotions is screaming at you to quit. You need to ask yourself, when your moment comes, when life swings at you with full force, will you crumble like Jake, or will you become the kind of man that nothing can break? Because in the end, there are only two types of men: the ones who get buried and the ones who rise. That feeling right there, regret. It's the most agonizing pain a man can experience. And the worst part, there's no going back. Time doesn't care about your excuses. Life moves forward whether you're ready or not. Most of you live like you have forever. You scroll your phone, waste hours playing video games, chasing pointless distractions, convincing yourself that one day you'll get serious. One day? That's the biggest lie you tell yourself. Because every second you waste is a second stolen from your future. And when reality finally smashes you in the face, when you realize you've run out of one days, I've had worse days than Jake ever did. I've had nights where I didn't know if I'd wake up with a roof over my head. I've been down to my last dollar, stuck in a freezing gym, fighting through pain just to keep moving forward. Now contrast that with another man, me. I've had worse days than Jake ever did. That's when the fear kicks in. Imagine waking up at 50 years old, overweight, broke, with nothing to your name but a pile of regrets. Imagine realizing you could have been rich, powerful, unstoppable, but you were too weak to take action. Imagine seeing younger, hungrier men outcompete you because they made the sacrifices you weren't willing to make. I am done listening to your pathetic justifications for why you are not where you want to be. You are not unlucky. You are not a victim. You are exactly where you deserve to be because of the choices you have made, and that should terrify you. You wake up every day with a decision: suffer now or suffer later. So what's it gonna be? Are you ready to wake up, to break free, to dominate this life before it buries you? Or will you keep lying to yourself, keep delaying, keep living in fear until the only thing left for you is regret? This is it, the moment where you decide if you're gonna be a man of action or a man of excuses. No more talk, no more empty promises to yourself. What are you going to do? Because right now you have two choices: keep living like a loser or stand up and take what's yours. Look around you. Use that fear. Let it light a fire under you. Let it force you to move like a man possessed. Because the only alternative is dying a nobody. You think you have time? You don't. Every wasted moment is a nail in the coffin of your potential. So what's it gonna be? Stay weak or rise up and dominate? Look around you. Every single day, men are falling. Not because they were weak from birth, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they let themselves slip. But understand this: men like me will keep winning no matter what you decide. The only question is, are you going to be one of us or just another spectator? Your time is now. Move. This is where most men fail, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack talent, but because they lack the courage to make a real decision. He's already started. He's grinding, sweating, pushing through pain, stacking his money, making connections, building his empire. And when you finally decide to get serious, you'll realize you're too far behind. That fear you feel right now, good. Let it burn into you. Let it remind you that time is your enemy if you don't control it. That's loser talk. That's the sound of a man who has already surrendered. Dominance is a choice. The men who run the world didn't wait for permission. They didn't hope for success. They took it. They looked at their fear, their doubts, their pain, and they turned it into fuel. They moved with a sense of urgency that you don't even understand. Right now, at this very moment, someone is out there outworking you. While you sit in bed hitting snooze, convincing yourself you'll start tomorrow, you either climb out bleeding and exhausted, or you rot there while life moves on without you. And that's the brutal reality that weak men refuse to face. They want to believe in luck, in fate, in some magical moment where everything just clicks and life hands them success on a silver platter. That moment will never come. The only thing that separates winners from losers is action. It will come in the form of a life so small, so meaningless, that you can't even stand to look at yourself. And when that moment arrives, there will be no one to blame but you. You think you have time? You don't. The clock is ticking. Every second you waste is a second stolen from your potential. Do you even comprehend that? Every meal you skip in favor of garbage food. Every workout you don't push to the limit. Every opportunity you hesitate on. It all adds up. And one day you will look back and realize you've built a prison of failure with your own two hands. The men at the top, they do not wait. They do not ask for permission. They do not let their emotions dictate their actions. They move like hunters. Focused, lethal, ruthless. Right now, at this very moment, you are faced with the same decision that every successful man has had to make. Will you take action and demand more from life, or will you take the easy route, the coward's route, the route of hesitation, weakness, and failure? Do not fool yourself into thinking this is just another motivational speech, another video, another fleeting moment of inspiration that you'll forget about in an hour. The world doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired, sad, or lost. Winners take action. Losers wait for the perfect moment that never comes. And every second you hesitate, someone else is getting stronger, richer, more powerful while you sit there doing nothing. You're being left behind. You think success is waiting for you? It's not. They got comfortable. They let fear paralyze them instead of fuel them. And by the time they realized what was happening, it was too late. Do you understand how terrifying that is? How easy it is to become nothing? All it takes is one bad habit, one moment of laziness, one excuse, and suddenly years have disappeared. You wake up and realize you're just another nameless, faceless nobody. A man who could have been great but settled for average. And you know the worst part? The moment you accept mediocrity, you start defending it. You start making peace with your own failure. You tell yourself, it's okay. Not everyone can be rich. Not everyone can be strong. Not everyone can be successful. Shut up. You don't understand how short life is, how little time you actually have to make something of yourself. Most men live in denial of reality. They wake up, go through their meaningless routines, and convince themselves that they'll figure it out later. But let me ask you, when is later? When are you finally going to start living like the man you pretend to be in your head? No one is going to drag you to success. It's all on you. You either take action right now or you accept a life of mediocrity. Every man reaches this moment, the moment where he decides who he is. A man of power, control, and dominance, or another nameless nobody, lost in the crowd, forgotten before he's even gone. You've heard the truth. You've felt the fire. But none of it matters if you don't act. So what's it going to be? If you push through the pain today, if you sacrifice, if you grind relentlessly, you will be rewarded. But if you stay soft, if you hesitate, if you let comfort lull you into weakness, then mark my words, your suffering will come. It will come in the form of regret so painful it will tear you apart. That's your future if you don't wake up now. The men who dominate this world, the real kings, they aren't gifted. They don't have some special advantage you don't. They just move with urgency. They operate like every second matters, because it does. While you're sleeping in, they're working. While you're hesitating, they're executing. And by the time you decide to start, they're already miles ahead. You can't catch up to a man who never stopped, lost in the crowd, forgotten before he's even gone. You've heard the truth. You've felt the fire. But none of it matters if you don't act. So what's it going to be? Will you let today be the day that changed everything? Or just another wasted opportunity? The choice is yours. This is your defining moment. The moment where you either break free from the chains of mediocrity or submit to them forever. Because make no mistake, every day you delay, every excuse you make, every moment of hesitation is another nail in the coffin of the man you could have been. They aren't gifted. They don't have some special advantage you don't. They just move with urgency. They operate like every second matters, because it does. While you're sleeping in, they're working. While you're hesitating, they're executing. And by the time you decide to start, they're already miles ahead. You can't catch up to a man who never stops moving. Fear can destroy you, or it can fuel you. Fear of failure. Fear of being weak. Fear of living a life so forgettable that when you die, the world doesn't even blink. You don't get another shot at this life. There is no reset button. You either dominate or you disappear. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep pretending you have time? Or are you going to finally rise, take control, and refuse to be forgotten? Enough. I am done tolerating your excuses. How many more years are you willing to waste before you finally wake up and realize you've been lying to yourself? Because I promise you this, there is a day coming where you will wake up and realize that you are out of time. You will look in the mirror and see a man who had every opportunity to be great, but threw it all away because he was too weak to act. willing to suffer now for what they want later. That's why the rich get richer, the strong get stronger, and the powerful become untouchable. Because they made the sacrifices you weren't willing to make. While you were sitting on your phone, while you were binge watching garbage, while you were wasting your time chasing meaningless distractions, the men who win were outworking you. And every second you continue living like this, they widen the gap between you and them. You need to understand that there is no safety net. No one is coming to pull you out of the pit you've dug for yourself. The man who gets up and grinds every day, even when he doesn't feel like it, will always crush the man who waits for motivation. That's why the top 1% dominate. That's why the strong rule over the weak. Because while you were making excuses, they were making moves. And you sit here playing life like a spectator, watching them take everything while you do nothing. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care if you're sad, heartbroken, or lost. Pain is not an excuse. Pain is the price of greatness. You either use it, channel it, make it work for you, or you let it consume you. There is no middle ground. So here's the final question, the only question that matters. Are you ready to take control of your life? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready, right now. Because the truth is, if you don't take action today, you never will. If you don't commit right now, you are choosing to stay exactly where you are, broke, weak, undisciplined, invisible to the world. And if that's what you want, then keep doing what you're doing, keep making excuses, keep delaying, keep lying to yourself. But if you're sick of being average, if you're sick of watching other men win while you stay stuck, then get up and do something about it. No more talking, no more hoping, no more waiting. Your time is now. And when that day comes, the pain of regret will be unbearable. Most people will never experience true success, not because they're incapable, but because they refuse to do what it takes. They want results, but they don't want the discipline. They want money, but they don't want to grind. They want respect, but they don't want to become men worthy of respect. The truth is, life doesn't care about what you want. It doesn't reward the lazy, the soft, or the undisciplined. It rewards those who are willing to suffer now for what they want later. It's running full speed in the opposite direction, and if you don't chase it like your life depends on it, you'll never catch up. This is not a game. This is not a drill. This is your life. And if you don't take control of it right now, you never will. What are you going to do when this video ends? Close the app? Go back to wasting time? Or are you finally going to prove to yourself that you are worth something? This is your last warning. No more waiting. No more thinking. Move now. This is where you stand at the crossroads. No one is coming to save you.